Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to IFX Expo International 2023. My name is Elisa, and I'm delighted to be your host here at the Speaker Hall for the course of 2 days of IFX Expo International. During these 2 days, we will look at fintech and online trading industries from different angles, from regulation to innovation and beyond. And to start this day and this beautiful event, we will start with the tradition of IFX Expo, the opening keynote by the chairman of Cyprus Securities and Exchange Commission. I'm honored to invite on stage Dr. George Theocharides. Please give him a warm welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here with you today to give the opening address to the IFX Expo 2023. By way of introduction, let me say a few things about CySEC. CySEC is the independent public supervisory authority for the investment services market in Cyprus, regulating transactions in transferable securities and the collective investment and asset management sector. It also supervises the firms offering administrative services which fall outside the remit of IPAC and Cyprus Bar Association, as well as the crypto asset service providers. So while we're committed to encouraging financial innovation, let me say that it's imperative that it's important that we balance the adoption of new technologies against the threats that are inherent in innovation and the challenges that they can pose to market participants. So what is our vision? Our vision is to enhance the Cyprus securities markets, to make it one of the safest and most reliable investment destinations in Europe and internationally. And we do this by fostering trust among the firms we regulated and the investors we serve. So while the market in which we operate is moving through some of the greatest upheavals that we have seen in recent years, whether through the war in Ukraine, the rising inflation, the energy crunch, we have also seen emerging sectors of the financial markets face their own problems, creating further volatility. And added to these challenges is the simple fact that financial markets are becoming more accessible to retail investors. And with this rising level of retail activity, the regulators must be able to respond to emerging threats, notably the rising influence on trading of social media and online messaging platforms exacerbated by aggressive marketing practices. So it is therefore incumbent upon us as regulators to act swiftly and to utilize the most advanced technological solutions to ensure that regulated entities remain compliant with enhanced regulatory requirements. In addition to this advanced monitoring and surveillance, CySEC is playing an important role in improving investor education on the risks posed by crypto asset investments and remains vigilant through the European Union's implementation of the regulation on markets in crypto assets, known as MiCA. So MiCA will provide more comprehensive regulatory supervision of the crypto asset space. The new rules under MiCA will introduce provisions for supervision, consumer protection, and environmental safeguards for crypto assets, including the cryptocurrencies. But as Europe becomes the first continent to regulate these markets, greater attention must also be placed on financial literacy. Promotion to inexperienced investors is the scourge of the investment industry and, of course, is not limited to the crypto space. So it is for these reasons that we have been proactive as CySEC in launching our investor protection campaign, which aims to improve the level of financial literacy amongst new investors. So let me just also mention here that, as you could see In this slide, it shows our vision, and it shows also the mission of CySEC. And just to reiterate, what is our mission is to protect the investors, whether it's institutional, professional, or retail investors, and at the same time, that's the one major pillar of what we do. But at the same time, the second pillar is to help so that there is a healthy growth in the financial services industry in Cyprus and across Europe as well. So let me say now a few things about new tools and supervision. In the ever-evolving landscape of the financial industry, the rapid emergence of the digitalization trend has been nothing short of evolutionary. The financial sector, once bound by traditional norms and practices, now finds itself at the forefront of technological renaissance. So now we have big data analytics, we have artificial intelligence, fintech, regtech, subtech, issues with cybersecurity, cloud computing, robotic process optimization, the DLT, and blockchain technologies. These are all buzzwords in the financial industry that not so long ago barely existed outside the imagination of the writers of science fiction. But we have seen so many changes and disruptions, but none more so than in the past few years. These technologies are transforming our economic and financial systems and converting the landscape of the world of finance. Yet we are only starting to scratch the surface of what the pre-mentioned terms can innovate in the way that we interact with the market. Sustainable finance, digitalization have already made a deep impact in the EU capital markets, and they will continue to drive the reshaping of the financial regulatory landscape for years to come. Building upon the momentum we have seen in the last decade or so in financial services, as we see more migration to online and mobile digital platforms. So it is the role of regulators to identify future trends and to anticipate the potential risks and unintended consequences. This means that not only we need to keep pace and move swiftly to protect investors from new and emerging risks, but we are also harnessing technology to drive innovation that increases the efficiency of our own operations. The continuous upgrading of the Cyprus Securities and Exchange Commission's operations and procedures remains a priority to make the Cyprus securities market a safe and secure place to do business by maintaining high standards of investor protection, investor confidence, and supporting the healthy development of the market with new products and services. This also addresses the ESMA strategic, and ESMA is the European authority, and CySEC is part, just for everyone to know, CySEC is part of ESMA, and we are actively participating in the various committees and boards of ESMA. And ESMA's strategic priority is to protect the retail investors. It's one of the major strategic priorities for the next 5 years. So this is part of what we also do, and specifically in this priority, we're addressing the need to manage big data with the introduction of advanced regtech systems which use artificial intelligence and cloud computing. These systems that we're using have the capacity to quickly screen data from a large and varied volume of trading activity in order to automatically detect risks and irregularities at an earlier stage and thus take proactive action against them. As part of this, CySEC has also implemented a transaction data processing system, storage and reporting system that was designed based on cloud infrastructure and is able to generate business insights which can be used to supervise market entities. This system can connect to the ESMA hub and is able to download and store associated data securely, helping us to support ad hoc queries and generate reports on both aggregations and base data. Other new procedures and methodologies currently underway will enhance our ability to oversee the compliance of regulated entities with regulations such as EMIR, MiFIR, SFTR, by automatically detecting potential risks and irregularities at an early stage. Furthermore, given the international and largely web-based nature of the activities of CIFS, a key acquisition that we have, that it was made by CySEC, is a specialized system that analyzes and monitors the online marketing materials and social media activities of Cyprus investment firms. I missed a slide, so I'll skip a slide here. So let me say a few things now about our innovation hub. Our innovation hub, it's 5 years since CySEC established its innovation hub to explore the growth and the uses of fintech developments like blockchain, DLT, AI tools, virtual digital currencies, crypto exchanges, and RegTech solutions. The hub serves as a knowledge sharing platform for both supervised and non-supervised entities to enhance their understanding about new and evolving financial technologies. We are in the process to transform this innovation hub into a regulatory sandbox through a grant that we have received from the RRF, the Resilience and Recovery Fund of the European Union. This regulatory sandbox will provide and control environment for fintech startups and other entities to be able to test their products or services in real conditions under the regulator's supervision. Hopefully, within the next year, we'll be ready with the regulatory sandbox. Okay. Let me say now a few more things about MiCA. Obviously, that's an important regulation that I'm sure that many investment firms are interested about. So let me say a few things about MiCA. The recent EU approval of this landmark crypto authorization law for Europe represents certainly a major step forward for the protection of investors in financial markets. More so now because trading in crypto assets has drawn many new, often young, and sometimes financially illiterate investors to these newly emerging markets where significant risks remain. While the EU's forward-thinking initiative is to be applauded, the global market for crypto and digital assets remains volatile and to a large extent unregulated. Outside of the EU, approaches to cryptocurrencies, speed of action, services and products, and even terminology differ significantly, creating a heavily fragmented system. ESMA is shaping its markets in crypto assets regulation as part of its digital finance strategy to increase consumer protection, establish clear crypto industry conduct, and introduce new licensing requirements. Importantly, MiCA covers classes of crypto assets that currently fall outside of existing EU financial services legislation, as well as e-money tokens. The first consultation for MiCA has been launched, and based on its current timetable, it's expected that will be fully adopted across Europe by the end of 2024. So it has passed through the European Parliament as a regulation, a European regulation, I believe in June of 2023, and now we are in the phase of the implementation. It will be fully implemented. There's a number of level 2 and level 3 regulations that needs to come out from ESMA, and we are part of this process, and it will be fully operational by the end of 2024. Once implemented, this regulation, existing investment firms will have a passport scheme for the pan-European provision of crypto digital asset services, operating under the guidance and strict supervision that MiCA provides. As I see, technology is the bedrock for growth of the financial services industry, and MiCA is an important, timely, and reflective suite of legislation that reflects the new and emerging challenges. However, I would like to emphasize that such is the pace of digitalization in the market that MiCA should only be considered a starting point. MiCA won't cover the full spectrum of crypto assets. For example, the NFTs, the non-fungible tokens, will not be covered by MiCA. Those will remain outside of its scope. Additionally, the issuance of stable coins will fall under central bank regulation, while trading and service provision will fall under ESMA and the European Securities and Exchange Commissions. It's the role of regulators to recognize future trends and to anticipate potential risks and side effects. Better cooperation and coordination arrangements between financial supervisors and other authorities will need to be developed, not just to ensure we follow the same rules under MiCA, but also on matters of consumer protection, AML and CFT risks, cybersecurity risks, and our engagement with digital platforms. Okay, let me continue with a few other regulatory initiatives and challenges, I should say. So, as I said earlier, regulators have a need to understand the challenges to financial markets posed by the growth of technology in all its forms and be ever vigilant to the new and emerging risks. Amongst these is the rise of retail activity and increased market accessibility, which has led to aggressive marketing practices, as well as false claims, which include greenwashing. What is greenwashing? Practices that give consumers the impression that the product or service they are using prioritizes ecology and green initiatives, which is the false impression. CySEC has itself invested in financial tools to help identify misleading adverts and the firms behind them. Our monitoring of the market has shown that the number of fraudulent advertisements has increased dramatically, with young investors now the most vulnerable to potentially overly aggressive marketing strategies. These emerging challenges related to technological innovation are expected through new legislations that are underway. So let me talk a little bit about these new legislations. Let me first start with DORA. What is DORA? The European Regulation on Digitalization and Operational Resilience in the Financial Sector. This is DORA, the Digital Operational Resilience Act, came into force this year and will become applicable by January of 2025. The aim of this regulation is to ensure that all participants in the financial system, and that includes investment firms, it includes fund managers, it includes insurance companies, it includes banks as well. So all participants in the financial system will have the necessary safeguards in place to mitigate cyber attacks and other risks. DORA establishes uniform requirements concerning the security of network and information systems supporting the business processes of financial entities. These are actions to be taken both at EU and national level, and CySEC participates in the Joint Committee Subcommittee on DORA. CySEC has also undertaken a mapping exercise examining the provisions of DORA to identify issues that require further attention from our side. Also, we're planning to launch a platform where the relevant entities will be required to report any incidents. Second, the DLT pilot regime. The DLT pilot regime came recently into effect. Again, it's part of the digital financial finance package introduced by the European Commission in 2020 to further enable and support the potential of digital finance while mitigating associated potential risks. The regulation on pilot regime for market infrastructures based on the DLT pilot aims at developing the trading and the settlement of digital financial instruments. A lot of work also on AML. It's what we call the AML package. A package of legislative proposals on combating money laundering and terrorist financing is currently under review at the EU level, and it takes into account new and emerging challenges related to technological innovation. A key part of the package is the establishment of the AMLA Authority, the European Anti-Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Authority, and a plan to extend existing rules on funds transfer services to crypto-asset transactions as well. These new rules will ensure both the sender and the beneficiary of these transactions are recorded by the crypto-asset service providers. Let me continue a little bit with these regulatory challenges, which I think are very regulatory initiatives, I should say, which I think are very important. In May 2023, the European Commission adopted the Retail Investment Strategy as part of its 2020 Capital Markets Union Action Plan. The primary objective is to reinforce investor protection within the European Union, to foster trust in the financial sector, and promote participation in capital markets. This package proposal targets the investor protection rules, which are currently established across various pieces of EU's legislation through an omnibus directive, covering MiFID II, the Insurance Distribution Directive, the Solvency II Directive, the IFMD, and the UCITS directives. The package also encompasses a proposal to amend the PRIPS regulation. The PRIPS is a package retail and insurance-based investment products, which focuses on revisions to the general product disclosure rules. Among others, they aim to amend the rules on product oversight and governance, safeguarding investors against malpractices of marketing communications, to protect retail investors from excessive costs and ensure they receive value for money investments, i.e. efficient and effective financing, and considering the evolution of digital channels, promote stronger supervisory and enforcement practices. The Retail Investment Strategy proposal is currently under negotiation at the Council level. We also have the MiFIR review. The MiFIR review proposal focuses on improving market transparency and structure, which will have the most impact on firms and venues engaged in the wholesale trading markets. The review creates a mandatory framework for the so-called the consolidated tape provider. The consolidated tape will bring together the prices and volumes of financial instruments, such as shares and bonds, from hundreds of execution venues across all member states into a single stream of information equally accessible for everybody. And I know that there has been a lot of, for many years, it was a discussion for this particular initiative. There were certain obstacles to it, but now, finally, it has been agreed. The MiFIR review also includes a prohibition of the practice of payment for order flow to increase the quality of execution and the amount of retail orders being performed on transparent and competitive public markets. In addition, the MiFIR review provides for improved rules on transparency for non-equity instruments such as bonds and derivatives, as well as a set of rules aimed at making robust markets for commodity derivatives. Overall, the new rules will increase global competitiveness, better integrate the EU capital markets, and are a significant step towards a true EU capital markets union. Political agreement was reached in June for the MiFIR review with the EU Parliament, but technical meetings are still taking place. We also have the EMIR refit, which looks at transaction data coming from trade repositories. The EMIR refit, this proposal aims to modify the current framework that applies to EU central counterparties and market participants who use their services. They include measures to enhance the central counterparties' liquidity and strengthen their supervisory framework. And a few things about the Capital Markets Union. Regarding the adoption of the actions of the Capital Markets Union, among others, in May of 2023, the Council and the Parliament negotiators reached a provisional agreement on the proposal for a single access points for investors, what is known as the ESAP, the European Single Access Point. Under the provisional agreement, the ESAP platform is expected to be available from summer of 2027 and will be phased in gradually to enable a robust implementation. So let me close. In conclusion, I would like to stress that whilst financial technology is creating new challenges, it also provides enormous opportunity for businesses to increase transparency, reduce costs, and make information more accessible to investors. We are fully committed to supporting these exciting developments, but at the same time, we are also dedicated to ensuring that these applications are delivered in a prudent and compliant manner and that investors are fully protected. We continue to contribute at the national, at the EU, and at the global level. At the EU, as I said, we are participating in a number of committees across the EU and especially ESMA. At the global level, we are participating obviously at the IOSCO meetings, which is the Global Organization for Securities and Exchange Commissions. So we're contributing to that to give Cyprus a strong voice, and we do this within the framework of the EU regulation through ESMA, as I said earlier, and through our continued participation at various other decision-making and discussion forums. I would like to reiterate CySEC's strong commitment towards the responsible growth of the investment sector and one that is underpinned by rigorous supervision to safeguard investor protection, consistent with ESMA mission, which is to enhance investor protection and promote stable, and this is one of the strategic priorities, enhance investor protection and promote stable and orderly financial markets. So with these thoughts, I would like to thank you for your kind attention, and I hope you have a nice and enjoyable two-day event. Thank you.